what are we calling Jesse's deck? New question.
Weird mono red Stompy.
Red, white, Stompy?
He's calling it red, white Moonblade. I guess we should call it to whatever he intended it to.
I'll give him that.
So two Stompy decks, two Chalice of the Void Soulland decks here. Red versus blue, the old rivalry.
So Jesse's deck is going to be more of the aggressive beatdown. Michael Day is definitely going to have a little bit more of the combo finish, the combo flair.
So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how Michael Day's blue deck is intended to play out, and that's really why I wanted to see this deck be played. Jesse is looking more just lock opponents out with a Blood Moon and Chalice of the Void effects, like most mono red Stompy decks would. And then he has Stoneforge Mystic to be sort of go the beatdown route, as well as Bone Crusher Giant. Jesse's also running 3 Fiery Confluence. Alright, well, I'll go over the list while we're setting this up.
Yeah, I'm definitely having an issue with the clock here.
So Jesse is running this red-white Moonblade Stompy deck, which it's running for lands, 4 City of Traders, 4 Ancient Tombs, and then 4 Arid Mesa, 5 Plains, 3 Mountain, 1 Plateau. And his creature base is 4 Bone Crusher Giant, 4 Magus of the Moon, 4 Goblin Rabblemaster, 4 Simian Spirit Guide, and 4 Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge has Embercleave, Umazawa's Jite, Sword of Fire Ice, and Batter Skull to go fetch up. And then he's also running the typical red Stompy cards, Chrome Mox, Chalice of the Void, Blood Moon as Foros, and 3 Fiery Confluence. Michael Day is, I read this list off from
Good luck with all of these things.
Yeah. Michael Day's list, a blue Stompy deck, 4 Ancient Tomb, 2 City of Traders, 6 Island, 4 Seed of the Synod, a Darksteel Citadel, a Cavern of Souls as his lands. His main cards, 4 Narset, 4 Echo of Eons, 4 Urzas, 4 Karn the Great Creators, 4 Chalice of the Void, 3 Emeries, 3 Sighs, 1 Oko, a Force of Will, 4 Lotus Petal, 3 Lion's Eye Diamond, 4 Mox Opal, a Mox Amber, a Chrome Mox, and a Mox Diamond. So pretty much all the Mox you could possibly run in a Legacy deck, he's running at least a single copy of.
And there's 4 ways to win pre-con Commander deck.
So both of these decks being Stompy decks, their Chalice of the Void are not going to be effective or used against what they're intended to.
Sorry,
use
Tony.
against.
I didn't know if you know how much of co-casting with me is sitting here by yourself as I run around and make sure everything gets started.
That's all right. I think I can carry this on with my limited knowledge of all these decks.
Start on the time. That should be a rough how long they have. Just the start of these hour-long rounds that we're working on. I did miss a question here. For me, what am I excited to play in Legacy? And what am I trying to cook up? I'm going to assume that that's a Legacy question and a professional question. Cook up. I have a brand new sous vide machine at home, which is an immersion circulator. So I've been doing a lot of cool pasta sauces with that. And I also have a pasta maker. So we've been making a ton of pastas at home. And my mom's coming out next week. And we're actually going to be deboning and rolling a whole turkey for Thanksgiving. So that's going to be the food side. On the Magic side, I am super interested in experimenting with Gilded Goose as the new chosen mana dork in bug decks. Obviously supporting that Oko card, less on the fact that I don't actually think Oko is broken. I think he's just extremely pushed and extremely it's extreme resource manipulation is what it actually is. You know, you can manipulate your life, you manipulate the planeswalker counters, you manipulate the creatures on the board. It's definitely very extreme board control pushed. But I'm mostly interested in it with its interaction with the Gilded Goose to make sure you have this cute little mana engine going, so you're still firing off hymns and okos and all the other cool bug stuff.
So we got, looks like we're starting here. Jesse starts with Arid Mesa. Michael Day starts with the Island. So these are just slow starts for these two decks. A single source of mana on the first turn.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of basic lands in Jesse's hand, and the only thing I saw in Day's hand is going to be the Force of Will. So here's the second fetch. I'm not even exactly sure who would be favored in this. I know they're both kind of Chalice decks that don't really want to be Chaliced, I'm going to probably say. Like a Chalice on 2 is going to be a problem.
Yeah, their lockout pieces aren't very effective against each other, considering both of them don't use 1-drops for the Chalice.
Yeah.
And then Jesse's moon effects aren't super effective either, just being against a deck with so many basics. And we see Michael already has his basic island, so he has
blue.
Yeah.
We do know he's going to need double blue if he wants to hit the Nurse It, though. But, ooh, it's going to get the Respect Force of Will. Force pitching Urza?
Yeah, it's Urza. I mean, I guess a lot of his blue cards do require 2 blue sources.
I think it requires 2 blue sources. And with that being a second blue source, I can see
why he's countered.
So here's an Opal. So with a Blood Moon in play, is that Seat of the Synod is not an artifact anymore?
I don't know this rules question, honestly. I know it's a mountain, so it doesn't have blue. Jesse does get a Blood Moon down. Michael Day only is running 1 main deck Force of Will.
The only one, and he had it.
Yeah.
So Seat of the Synod is going to actually still be an artifact.
Okay. Learn something new every day.
So that is an island, basically a great furnace, and an actual mountain. Well, Jesse continues to slam basic lands. What is gonna happen?
So Michael Day is he's close to having all the colors he needs. He just needs 1 more artifact to simply have 2 blue mana.
Ooh, Chalice on 0.
Interesting.
So 1 more artifact. Any artifact works.
Correct. I think but Jesse's not really pressuring, though, which is... I mean, he should be doing something with this disruption. Ooh, Fiery Confluence.
Destroying 2 artifacts, I'm guessing.
Oh, that's rough.
Okay, Jesse's applying a lot of disruption, but no clock to speak of. That Magus of the Moon probably would have worked a little bit better.
Michael has a Karn in hand, so... all he needs is
just needs to get to 4 mana.
This makes his land drops in.
Ooh, there's the clock we've been waiting for.
Rabble Master. That's a fast clock, too.
That's a good Karn counter as well.
Yeah. So we see Jesse get off to executing his game plan well here.
And the game plan just worked out well. I don't even necessarily know if it was executing his game plan. It's just somehow,
yeah,
somehow in some way, the Blood Moon was effective.
Yeah, I didn't think the Blood Moon would be that effective, but turns out it is.
It might have been less so the Blood Moon and more so the Fiery Confluence.
Yeah, for sure.
The double artifact destruction is pretty good. Karn. So he put any plus Karn on
Chalice, maybe? Oh no, Karn comes in with 5. So.
Karn comes in with 5. There's the plus Karn. Yeah, I thought he was plussing Karn. Plus it to kill. That's also going to keep Karn alive for a turn, right?
Yeah.
If you chew, it's going to take 4 if you go straight to Karn.
Yeah, and you could still retrieve an artifact from his sideboard next turn then, with Karn being at 2. Michael Day in his sideboard, he's running as Wish targets from Karn, a Lion's Eye Diamond, a Mycosynth Lattice, an Ensnaring Bridge, a Walking Ballista, an Engineered Explosives.
I guess that's actually 6 damage to kill the Karn.
Oh yeah, I suppose. I guess I can't do math.
That being said, I've never had a Goblin Rabble Master in play, so I'm not exactly sure the math behind it.
I guess just getting rid of that chalice.
Wait a second. Jesse's doing things here.
What is that card?
That is the flash artifact that gets cost 1 less for every.
That card Jesse in his hand.
Oh, I mean, actually, it's got to be a Jit. No, it's an Embercleave. It is the Embercleave. I found it.
Okay.
That is the Embercleave, and that's going to be game.
I guess that's the one card I didn't know from this list, so it would make sense.
Sorry, I knew it was the Embercleave, but I didn't see it in the list. The handwriting is not the best.
So we're gonna go over these sideboards.
So we have Jesse taking game 1.
So Michael Day's sideboard, being like a Karn Great Creator deck, he doesn't have like too much space for things outside of artifacts to go fetch up. He's running 2 Echoing Truth, an extra Force of Will, and then 2 Sorcerer Spyglass and 2 Tormod Script, and 2 Defense Grid that I didn't mention before as Karn targets. So I think maybe he probably wants the Echoing Truths just as a general, like...
Buy him some time.
Yeah, seems like they'd be pretty useful against Jesse.
So for anyone else, Embercleave, when it comes into play, it costs 4 and 2 red. The spell costs 1 less for each attacking creature you control, and it does have flash. When it comes into play, it gives the creature +1/+1, double strike, and trample.
Oh, okay, so that's a pretty good finisher then, just to make one creature gigantic, essentially.
It makes one creature do a lot of damage, which is it's a very quick clock with these. When you have the board kind of locked up with Blood Moon or Chalice of the Void, you don't really want to let them draw their out. You kind of just want to kill them.
Yeah, make their little dorks like lethal.
Make dorks hit hard.
Jesse's sideboard is 4 Nahiri the Harbingers, 4 Thalia Garden of Thraben, 1 Emrakul the Eon's Torn, 2 Containment Priests, 2 Rest in Peace, and 2 Humility. So I don't think the Thalias seem like they'd be pretty disruptive to this kind of deck. Like, Michael Day's not playing many creatures at all. I don't know why the Emrakul's in there. Just put it in off a show and tell. I don't know.
Put it in off a show and tell. How many lines of diamonds makes an Emrakul? A lot.
Oh, it's a Nahiri target, I guess. That's like he must choose to go like the Nahiri route, maybe against like grindy matchups, and then just have the Emrakul to go search up and give it haste. All right, that makes a lot of sense.
Can't believe you're making me Google Nahiri the Harbinger.
I'm sorry. If it doesn't get played in Cloud Post decks, I'm probably not very knowledgeable of it.
Yeah, you are correct. Search your library for an artifact or creature card, put it in the battlefield, shuffle your library, it gains haste, return it to your hand at the end of the next battle step. So, coming in for 15.
If Jesse's like...
and that seems a little win more.
Yeah.
Like, you're assuming that you're going to have a Nahiri, and that Nahiri is going to ult.
I mean, I don't think Jesse... I don't know how much he knows about this deck. If he's like the rest of us and doesn't know anything about it, then... I don't know if, like, his game plan in game 1 seemed to, like, get him there, so I don't think he needs to go the Nahiri route. But, the 4 Thalias seemed like they'd be good there. Like, he knows that, Michael Day, by playing that Chalice in 0 last turn, or last game, he knows the value of those cheap artifacts, so it doesn't seem like a bad idea to...
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a bad idea. I can see the Thalias coming in. Other than that, probably nothing. I mean, maybe the Nahiris if you want to get... You don't say greedy is not really the word, but I believe Nahiri also kills artifacts and enchantments.
Yeah. And also, like, they're both probably siding out, or possibly siding out their Chalice of the Voids. So, it's possible that they would just want to bring in whatever they can to replace, like, an otherwise pretty bad card.
I don't think should Jesse keep his Chalice of the Voids in around. I mean, he is playing a Chalice deck, but Michael Day is playing a lot of 0 mana cost artifacts. So it could be, kind of like Bomberman, a Chalice deck that loses to Chalice.
Yeah. It's possible maybe you'd want to keep it on the play, just because you could stop your opponent from dropping their 0 drops after you drop all yours.
Yeah.
I think you would want to take them out, though, being on the draw here. Jesse's going to mulligan to 6. Michael Day keeps a 7. So, Anthony, what do you think about lands now? Being a lands expert, like, what would you say it's at, like, in the format right now?
So, Converse, 1 second. I can't do multiple things at a time. I'm actually posting that we are streaming the AZ Eternal Magic Masters on Twitch right now to the Leaving a Legacy group to try and, build a little bit of hype. I know there was a big fallout of Legacy players and people being upset when Star City Games basically pulled support for Pioneer.
That's fair.
What's our handle for this? Is it's just AZ Eternal Magic?
Arizona Eternal Magic is the full name to put in the web address.
One word?
Yeah.
Okay, one word.
So Michael Day getting off to 2 mana here.
Okay, sorry, I had to do some posting things.
That's fine.
Oh, so there's the Emery. That's an actual new card. We'll get back to the Lance question in a little bit. How do you feel about this new card? It's seen a lot of work in modern decks.
Emery.
So it's something of the lock, keep of the lock, lurker of the lock.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Michael Day's handwriting is hard to
So
read.
we know it's a creature. It costs 2 and a blue. It has affinity for artifacts, essentially. When it comes into play, it mills 4 cards off the top of your library, and then you can tap it to play, and you have to hardcast it, but you tap it to play a card from your artifact, from your graveyard.
Okay, and it also has the synergy of possibly flipping over an Echo of Eons that Michael could turn over and cast. Ooh, that's a turn
Here's the
2.
fast Karn. I missed it. What did Jesse use to kill the Emery?
He went. He pitched a Simian Spirit Guide and a Mountain. This 2 mana. Is that a Bone Crusher Giant? I think it's what?
Bone Crusher Giant. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Pitch Simian Spirit Guide, cast Bone Crusher Giant. It's removed from the game. This makes sense.
Can you search up Bone Crusher Giant real quick to see exactly how that reads?
I believe it does 2 damage to any target for the most part. Damage can't be prevented.
Okay.
Yep. 2 damage, any target. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Definitely kills Emery's very effectively. And it's going to come back after this exile as a 4/3.
Okay.
If we get there. It does seem like Michael Day is in fact doing things.
Michael Day is really doing well with this game plan here. Looks like he can just go for a Mycosynth Lattice lock here. Even without sacrificing his LED, they searched up last game. Karn.
I mean, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4. He has the full mana for the lock, easy.
Oh, yeah.
There it is, yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that was
Jesse just got stuck on his 1 land, too, so... Yeah, that was a quick one.
That was interesting. I mean, I was busy over here looking up cards and didn't quite greetings from Belgium.
Yeah, Michael Day basically just effectively getting out Karn very quickly there. Just getting the Lattice lock off. I think just being on the play is super important on this matchup.
Hand him out. BRB.
Yeah.
Important paperwork stuff.
Hope everybody's having a good Saturday today. Just watching some Legacy.
Sorry. Stores actually getting busy and they don't know what to do.
Now we can see Jesse did sideboard in the Thalias, which especially after that last game just shows like the value of all those quick mana sources that Michael Day was playing. I think Jesse being on the play will be super beneficial this last game. It gives him the option to drop Thalia first turn or a Chalice on 0, which doesn't seem too bad looking at it now.
Okay, results have started coming in. We have Gray Alman on Elves, 2-0 over Daniel Espinoza. Espinoza, host of the tournament, on the brink of elimination.
And, I mean, that's just one of those combo mirror matches where...
whoever gets their turn faster.
Exactly. That's the only result we've had so far.
That is all I have. So talking about lands, I mean, it's a great place in Legacy to be a non-blue Magic player for probably the first time in years. I mean, Rug Delver is, almost oppressively powerful right now, but it does have a lot of things that it just can't beat. It is very versatile. It's very everywhere, but it has pushed out the other blue decks to make way for all kinds of amazing and fun non-blue decks. I mean, just from in the Arizona meta ourselves, we have all of these almost, you don't want to say strictly non-blue or strictly pet deck players, but you're a 12-post player. We just had Mikez Hadley, the great Goblins player. We have Dan Ford, another Goblins player. We have several lands players, several non-blue specialists. And it's almost like, Wizards is finally letting us have some cards to fight the Great Blue Menace. A little card selection once upon a time, which I haven't gotten into with lands yet, but it's definitely a great card in the black-green depths decks that SB should play, and he should probably pick up. Just having that 5-card look before your turn even starts. I mean, the fact that you can cast it on your opponent's turn after they do anything after they do something is ridiculous.
Is Lands considering using Once Upon a Time?
Many Infect players, but you guys do play blue. I don't know if you. The question is about lands, and I'm getting there. I'm not looking at Once Upon a Time in lands yet, but I am moving the creature package main. The Elvish Reclaimer is very good. It's repeatable crop rotations, and in so many matchups, it's just hard to beat for anybody. And so I've moved 3 Elvish Reclaimers and 2 Tireless Trackers main, which really frees up 5 cards in the sideboard, because that's where they've been.
Oh wow. So we see the game 3 starting here. Jesse's
not messing around.
Turn 1 Goblin Rabble Master. So he's going for an aggressive, just try and kill him as fast as possible instead of disruption. So we'll see what Michael Day can do. I think just pressuring his life total might be effective here. Michael Day doesn't really have much else besides just let's see. I actually don't know. See if he can combo something here.
So Michael Day is kind of just as fast in most instances, but I don't know if he has...
players, pairings are about to go up. I can't have them posted on the TV, though. So they're going to be on the sheets of paper that are going to be in the side room up here if you want to come look at them.
So look at your
he doesn't have very many answers to this Goblin Rabble Master. His deck can do a bunch of cool things, including play 3 zero-cast artifacts on turn 1.
No land drop, just...
No land drop. He's just going to be taking a lot of damage to the face.
Yeah, it's just
if he has... Damage. He does have the force. I'm not entirely sure why he wouldn't force that, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he just not have a blue card, possibly?
I mean, if he has land, he has the Urza in his hand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which would be great, which would help block and do everything that he needs it to do.
I think Jesse just has too much pressure here. It's, Michael Day could maybe get Karn out and then Snaring Bridge. I don't know.
He has too many cards in his hand. He'd have to sack the
The LED.
He'd need a soul land, Karn, sack the LED for ensnaring bridge. I mean, he definitely had the blue card in his hand for the Force of Will. I mean, he's on a specifically one turn clock at this point.
Yeah, he's just dead next turn. Thalia.
And there's the Thalia to make things much worse. There's the Force of Will on the Thalia. I feel like it's one card too late, though.
Yeah. I don't know what he could draw to draw him out of this.
And there's the land.
Three mana.
3 mana.
4. Narset.
Narset.
So colorless floating.
I mean, ideally, he probably, if he would have drawn the land, I think he might have had, the Narset combo. So he might have gotten greedy with wanting to make sure he hits Narset because he has the Echo.
Ooh, yeah.
So here's the Echo. It's going to discard Jesse's hand.
He's gonna have to draw something pretty good though to get out of this, to preserve himself another turn.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what I mean, obviously a lot of artifact land. He could have some combination of
A bunch of Lotus Petals into a Karn, into an Ensnaring Bridge possibly.
a bunch of. He's already made his land drop. Do we see anything in his board that could help here?
Echoing Truth. Now he's at 2 though.
Echoing Truth doesn't help.
I think it's just he needs to get a Karn and enough mana to just go into an Ensnaring Bridge and then try and go from there.
I mean, 7 cards does get you a lot, but I don't necessarily know if it gets you.
He has the Narset activation as well.
It's at 5, doesn't it? Oh, so it starts at 5, yeah. So he has an Narset. So he has the Karn. Does he have 7 mana?
He's got 1 colorless floating.
I mean, Karn, double Lion's Eye Diamond. Karn, Lion's Eye Diamond. Lots of Lotus Petals. I'm not.
Yeah, I think that Ancient Tomb just came a turn too late.
Yeah. Now he's going to look.
Narset. Looks like he needs mana sources more than anything.
Which Narset can't really find. I think he needed a Force of Will, this Rabble Master.
Yeah. In hindsight, he probably should have forced it. Maybe he was more worried about some form of disruption that Jesse could play.
More worried about the Chalice on 0.
Yeah. See what he's looking up.
Looking up. He should be calling Judge, right?
Yeah, he should, but...
Oh, he's checking Narset.
Oh, okay. Looks like it's a Japanese version of Narset.
Yeah, because it's non-land card, right?
Yeah. Non-creature... Non-land, I believe?
Non-creature, non-land, yeah. Go find one of them spells.
I mean, it's
So
not
we're here.
impossible.
He's still in the tank. He's got 1 mana in play. I see at least 1 more. So he has 2 mana.
If he got enough LEDs, he could maybe pull off the 7 mana.
Well, the problem is he needed the LEDs before he activated the Narset.
Yeah, that's right.
Trip LED, activate Narset, get Karn would be.
then hope you hit what you need.
There it is.
Jesse's gonna win that game 3 over Michael Day.
We have Michael Day using my Lion's Eye Diamonds. Falling to Jesse. Jesse now 1-1.
Both these players playing unusual decks from their norm. Jesse's a typical Maverick player, or I should say he's a Maverick expert, typically playing Maverick. And Michael Day, I've always seen him play Black Red Reanimator, so both of them bringing some spice today.
Both fun. I mean, I think they were both. I think Michael Day's been playing this deck a lot on Moto. And this is just kind of, it's an unfortunate matchup, but it's a fast clock and some very specific disruption. And these red-white, I'm not going to say these red-white moon decks, but these red Blood Moon decks have about the most efficient and fast clocks that you could possibly put on. I mean, the best 3-cost
Oh yeah,
threats that you could possibly find.
that's for sure.
I will go get Michael Day for a little Tony Brado one-on-one while I try to find another game.
That sounds good.
You have the mic.
Yeah. At Demonic 101, we're gonna go get him right now. I'd like to know more too. I know nothing about that deck. I'm replacing like another person that had to dip out of our commentary, so I'm not the most knowledgeable about these other decks, how they play out or their matchups. I'm typically only play 12 posts, but try and use what I know to try and give you a nice commentary, better viewing experience. If you guys have any questions or any like specific requests, sure to state in the chat. Yeah, Jesse won. We're gonna get Michael Day and talk about the. Oh, you're welcome. 12 posts is a fun deck. It's been a little rough recently, but still fun. Still love it.
Fair enough. This is the night.
You rang.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. Can we sit here?
Yeah,
Sit here.
take it.
All right.
So you have the most interesting deck, by my opinion, in this tournament. Could you tell like us more about like what the deck?
And scoot over a little bit.
Oh, I see.
So
We're all getting in
I
here.
have to type.
Gotcha.
I have a...
Yeah, if you could just like explain more like what the deck does and like how you
Sure.
came to it.
And why you didn't force the Goblin Rabble.
Absolutely. I mean, I can go general to specific if you'd like. So, generally speaking, I wanted to play something that I'd have fun with today. And since we all know that fun is zero sum, playing all of the design mistakes I think that they've made for, years culminates in a deck that essentially tries to turn LED into a Black Lotus a bunch of different ways. Karns and Echoes do that. Plays Chalice of the Void into a world where I didn't expect it to be the Stone Cold Nuts, but I also expected it to be a pretty good turn 1 play. And it's not Reanimator. I mean, it is about as far from Reanimator, I think, as you can get, short of lands, right?
It's for sure, yeah.
I mean, even then, I'd still be trying to play Life from the Loam over and over again. So, yeah, and it just looked like a lot of fun. Also, you get to play some flex spots, some fun cards. Like, I started by testing a build that had 3 Force of Will, 4 Chrome Mox. You never, ever had cards in your hand. You were either perfectly drawing the combo or just dead because all the card disadvantage you're playing can't dig you out of a hole, and tuned it from there. I've also tried it with and without Karn, and that's just as obvious a decision as any when you can make 6 mana on turn 3 after making 4 on turn 2. If you aren't playing Karn, I think you're dumb.
Yeah.
So
Karn's is kind of like a one win condition all in its own in one card.
exactly. I mean, not just that, but the way that he works is another way to turn LED into a Black Lotus. Mm-hmm. My biggest gripe about the deck is I wish I could play 5 LEDs because I want 4 main and 1 in the board.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Having to put 1 in the board is you lose points because your main deck is now trying to connect a 3-card combo using Narset, and there's only 3 of a 4 of.
Yeah, definitely. I think Bomberman has that same issue too.
Exactly the same issue.
And then your other combo is Narset with Echo of Eons.
Exactly.
You draw 7 and they go to 0 cards in hand.
Well, they get 1 first, but if I do it twice, then they've already drawn their 1 for the turn.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. I mean, yeah, fun is zero sum, and I would like to have all of it. But no, it also it's a new deck for me. I like playing things that are hard. I have gotten to know the Legacy format a lot better than I did 6 or 7 months ago when
it was either turn 1 Grizzlebrand or concede. And so, at the very least, I get to have some enjoyable interactions, I think.
So your second game, pretty nasty there. Quick Karn, Lattice Lock.
Exactly. And it does that, right? I mean, you've got two different ways to be completely degenerate on the first 2 turns, maybe 3 turns of the game. One is, mind twisting them while you draw 7, and the other is locking them out of ever casting a thing again. Mm-hmm. And then, when the third most degenerate thing you can do in your deck is play Chalice for just about any number on turn 1, you've got something.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, now specifically to your question, Jackass, why I didn't force that turn 1 Rabble Master, I was still shell-shocked from a couple of days ago.
I mean, you say my question, Jackass, but it is right here in chat.
Yep.
Okay, this is the chat question.
And everyone deserves an answer. First and foremost, I am probably an idiot. But what was going through my mind at the time was, A, I've kept a hand that's 1 land away or 1 rock. I mean, I've got probably 40% of my deck turn 1's him right there. Running Urza's, that feels like playing on Magic Online. So that was a little embarrassing, but, I have him on turn 1 with Force Backup with 40% of my deck, and a Rabble Master doesn't kill me it doesn't kill me fast enough, frankly. Also, probably turning Anecdote into data in my own head, which is a huge mistake, was the fact that in testing this on Magic Online, I'd kept a on-the-play, all-in on the combo with 2 LEDs hand, and could not concede fast enough when my turn 1 was a bunch of stuff, just turn 1, a bunch of LEDs, try to wheel with like 5 in pool, and he exiles Simian Spirit Guide and Pyroblasts it. And I had raw memories of that, thinking, well, at the very least, I can counter that. Actually, no, I couldn't, right? Yeah, if I've discarded my hand.
You wouldn't
have any.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. And I guess there was a Chrome Mox in my hand, so I'm also thinking I want to hang on to my blue cards as long as possible. Because, again, the classic tension in that deck that I was talking about earlier has been how many 2-for-1s against yourself can you run? Mm-hmm. And opening on 2 of them right there, I don't know. Maybe if I force it, I still lose to the Thalia, but that's knowing the future. So...
Yeah, considering if you had not missed on land drops, your game plan seems like the Rabble Master shouldn't even matter. Really
it doesn't.
At that point, so.
By the time Narset has mind twisted them and drawn me a card, he can attack it with the south or the north or the every cardinal direction. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's there to just A, facilitate my deck, find a Karn if that's what I'm missing, find the LED if that's what I'm missing, or B, screw them.
So, as we sit here and you guys are talking, we have a fair matchup in this room full of degenerate combo decks. We have Game 3 of Brian Kinsman on Jund Dreadnought, which is funny that we're calling a Phyrexian Dreadnought deck fair, against Jim Dudek on Rug Delver. A little bit of spice for Jim. He is running the 3 Elvish Reclaimers and only 2 Wrenn and 6s, so his numbers are a little bit skewed. He also has the 4 Stifle package, Game 1. We're not really sure where he is right now, but this is a deck that can get underneath everything that Brian's trying to do. So Brian has a...
Out of curiosity,
Sorry,
now that I've already looked at these deck lists and memorized them to the best of my ability, should I be looking at these deck lists?
It's round 2. It's round 2.
Hide these here.
It was
Are they
fine.
in my pod? How about that?
You could be standing over there if you wanted to.
That's also true.
That's the most true. We gave it to him a little bit for round 1, but
Jim's pretty good at. He always plays a Delver variant. He's a Delver expert.
yeah.
So yeah, it looks like his version of Rug is more of being more tempo oriented with the stifles, kind of like the Rug.
Get there and just kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Rug.
Very good in a room full of combo.
Degenerate crap.
So Kinsman got the only card in his graveyard, the only relevant card in his graveyard, Surgical, as he resolves the Chalice on 1. So, losing the Grove of the Burnwolves isn't that big of a deal. Resolving the Chalice is, in fact, a big deal, as long as he can find a way to kill this Delver.
Yeah, we saw Brian play in round 1.
Okay, Jim just tossed out a respect ponder.
I have no idea how it's structured.
So Brian has the
As many games as possible.
land. That's actually good for Mr. Kinsman.
Yep.
In that he somehow played 2 generally fair decks.
Yeah, where was this matchup? All right.
He is playing Chalice the Void, which I don't think you're super happy about seeing.
No. Though game 1 in my match goes a little differently if
Ooh, guys, there is the Scroll of Fate.
oh yeah.
The enabler of Phyrexian Dreadnought. in this game.
Ah.
I mean, it's also just a really good win condition in a slow deck like this. I mean, he has a lot of card advantage. Just after this point, I mean, he has 3 mana. He can cast everything in his deck. Any extra land from this point on is a 2/2/2.
I see.
Jim getting really unlucky, like missing those Delver flips here, because having the 2 toughness being flipped is like so critical against Ren and 6 and
Yeah,
absolutely.
in this matchup.
I mean, so here's the Ren and 6. Jim's trying to stay relevant with that Chalice of the Void, just still being brutal. So we did not get an activation. I was really hoping for
Just do it.
just do it.
Why not?
He does have a Ren and 6 in his hand, so he can Ren kill the Delver, which I think is probably I would say the correct play.
It certainly looks good here. I mean, it's the last Delver until Jim finds a way out of that Chalice.
Jim gets to look at all the 1-drops in his hand and the 0 Force of Wills.
Yep.
Brian elects to tick Ren and 6 up.
Brian elects to plus? Question mark? I mean, I guess he can get the land back, and I believe he has a removal card in his hand.
Oh, Assassin's Trophy, it looked like.
I don't know why
worst
you
case
would.
scenario, he can blow that emergency cord, but still, a free Delver seems pretty good.
I mean, this might be
Unfamiliarity?
that word.
That one.
With the format.
Sure.
Because just killing the Delver seems like the 100% correct play.
Yeah. In learning to play against Delver, albeit
Okay.
with my joke of a deck.
He wanted to trophy that.
He needed the mana to cast that trophy, so that's why he took that.
I mean, I still think it's a more correct move to still kill the Delver.
Yep. Because now it doesn't die.
Yeah, exactly.
And your Ren and
I
6
mean,
does.
yeah, now he can't kill.
Yep.
Seems like a big deal. You're trading him getting 1 more land as opposed to.
Am I missing that Jim did not go get a basic off of that Assassin's Trophy
Jim is
because
playing-
he doesn't have a basic?
He
to
does
go
not
get?
have a basic.
I can respect that.
Most of the Delver decks don't typically run a basic land. Any
Even a
basics.
single island, huh? Okay.
So Kinsman's going to kill the Delver. He's got the Delver is dead.
Just like he drew it up. Knew it all along.
Still seems sketchy.
No way, man.
He's there. He does not have infinite punishing fires though, so that's super good.
I mean, he has the slowest punishing fire in history in that artifact.
Jim's running 1 Ancient Grudge and 1 Rough Tumble to get rid of Chalice.
To get rid of the Chalice.
Yeah, and he's also running 4 Tarmogoyfs as a threat that's not 1 mana.
Yep.
So he could still
He could still kind of do things.
To be fair, the Goyf, I think, gets blocked by a manifest every turn it matters.
Okay, so Kinsman be continuing to push the Dreadnought, or sorry, not the Dreadnought.
The
Push
Ren
the
and
mana
six.
advantage from the Ren and 6. That is an Elvish Reclaimer. He's running Trace of them.
I have to imagine that if this is going to go for 4 more turns in his mind, he cares that he's got 4 lands out of his deck.
I mean, he definitely cares. Even Kinsman just ticking this up, like giving his awesome removal spells.
Exactly.
That would have been. That's probably the main reason is why I wouldn't have let the Ren and 6 take 3.
Exactly. You'd already be recurring any removal spell you want. And if that removal spell is Assassin's Trophy against a deck with no basics, what more could you ask for?
And he's also running Abrupt Decay.
Yep.
So, I mean, infinite Abrupt Decay seems pretty okay.
Yep. And in all honesty, that looks like where he's headed. Dudek is on draw an artifact removal spell or slowly die to recurring everything.
Yeah.
So thinking if I want to buy like some D6 with I want to build scenes, but I also don't want to tabernacle.
Obviously, we should note Dudek did pick up a copy of Force of Will, so he will have at least some shields up for the most terrifying.
I mean, I think everything terrifying's in play. I
Yep.
mean, he has a clock.
Yep.
Even if he answers these 2/2s,
Yep.
which could potentially be a 12/12, even if he answers these instant speed 2/2s, and here's another one.
Yep.
Just like Kinsman's first round that we saw, like it's once his deck like locks down the board,
Once
like,
things start happening,
It's
yeah.
over.
keeps the lid on like the small creatures.
Yep.
Oh, I really want one of these to be a 12/12. I'm gonna.
It wasn't, because that would have been the turn to show it. Maybe he wants to really, really stretch it out.
And there's the go. Here's another one.
End of turn,
one
reveal them all to
Can
have been
one of
12/12s.
these? Can all of these be 12/12s? And he has the punishing fire too. So
Why not?
Why not?
So Brian Kinsman wins that one over Jim Dudek. Brian moves to 2-0. Jim is 1-1 after 2 rounds of our tournament here.
And I do appreciate you calling that the fairest matchup you could find, because that didn't seem very fair at all. So,
Probably like the only one
what a room.
I mean, it's. We're trying to get actual games before.
It all degenerates
It
to
all just
degeneracy.
degenerates to degeneracy.
So we're forced to like bad matchups.
Exactly. To be fair, no one's ever covered me before because no one wants to watch Reanimator.
You made a wise
Everyone
call.
wants to watch an Urza make a Karn struct and then hit somebody for 14.
It is definitely a true statement. I was hoping you were playing a direct port of the new Bug Wurza deck.
Ooh. I've seen it. I like it. I like Chalice of the Void better.
I mean, I definitely think that deck almost has some legacy staying power.
For sure.
It's a quick infinite combo that I think only gets improved.
What's this Bug Wurza deck?
You're talking Snow, right? You're gonna play.
So it's a
okay.
modern
Yep.
it's a modern 3-color deck that's running Urza,
Yep.
Whir of Invention,
Yep.
a bunch of cheap artifacts,
critically Arkham's
it's-
Astrolabe.
and it searches for Thropter Sword.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, gotcha.
So Thropter Sword with Urza in play is infinite mana, infinite life, infinite activations. Wash it.
I did test a lot of Thopter Sword variants. At no point was I really interested in not being on Chalice of the Void. Works just as well with Urza being a nice little artifact. And I was just too smitten by the fact that Lion's Eye Diamond does not technically tap to do its Lion's Eye Diamonding, which means that once you have Urza, that is now a Black Lotus and a Mox Sapphire at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
That said, the Wurza deck certainly has better game against fair decks.
That's it.
Because the deck I'm playing can be something of a glass cannon. When I started playing with Emery and Thopter Sword, there were free wins because he will just turn over the combo every once in a while.
So you do have a request to review your deck. I guess someone wasn't paying attention the first time you
Oh,
did
no
it.
problem.
But
Do we-
I'm getting the pairings up for the next round if you want to talk for a little bit.
Yep.
And then we got to go.
Sounds good. To review the deck itself, we're looking at essentially all of the mono blue degenerate stuff you can do with artifacts. It's an Urza, Emery, Psy, Narset deck attached to a Karn bunch of mana rocks Chalice of the Void deck. And you're looking to do a couple of things. One, turn Lion's Eye Diamond into a Black Lotus as often as possible. Two, lock people out either by mind twisting them with Narset, Echo of Eons, Lion's Eye Diamond, or simply stop them from playing what they want to with a quick Chalice of the Void. And then Karn can either be your tip of the spear or simply mop up. I mean, given the flexibility of the card, he plays multiple roles in the deck. Some fun ofs that I like are a Force of Will, because when you play too many, A, it's not a good card to wheel into, and B, it is diminishing returns for a deck playing that few blue cards. And then B, I'm playing an Oko main because I wanted to have said I played an Oko main before he potentially is no longer available in this format.
You think he's not?
I don't think he'll get axed in Legacy, but I think if he's not axed in Standard, there will be riots. I think if he's not axed in New Pioneer, there'll probably be riots. And I really would not be surprised if they overkill him into Modern as well.
Okay.
I haven't seen him ruin Legacy yet, though.
Thanks for giving that nice, succinct version of the deck.
Sure.
I was just reading the list off, and I was confused, but that explains it great.
It's a bunch of nonsense.
I like it.
It's a bunch of degenerate nonsense stitched together with some design mistakes like Narset, Karn, arguably Urza. And I'd say the most interesting card that I was surprised by when I started testing it and immediately loved is Emery, because if he flips or you have a Lotus Petal, he's a Birds of Paradise. If they counter your Chalice of the Void, they're going to have to do so forever. If you are on the Lion's Eye Diamond plan, it's an extra Black Lotus play the turn you're wheeling. And post-board, you wind up in some interesting situations where, like, say, Reanimator, you're going to cast an Emery and pray to God you didn't get your Tormod's Crypt stolen from your hand. Or if you did, pray to God you didn't get your Emery stripped. Or do them both on the play, and they can't win.
Okay.
Because recurring Tormod's Crypt is about as good as Black Leyline against that deck.
Oh, yeah.
Same is true for recurring Engineered Explosives against Delver or other decks that want to play 1s and 2s. And then finally, as printed, he costs 3, so you're never going to accidentally chalice him out.
Yeah. I like the deck a lot.
It's been a ton of fun. Obviously not doing so well today, but I would guarantee you it's player error more than anything.
Well, thanks for being in here and sharing your experience with us.
Absolutely. I hope you guys have a great day, and everyone enjoy the coverage.
Yeah, good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks.
Cheers.
That was Michael Day, everyone, explaining his Echo of Eons deck. Unique, he explained it best. We're about to start round 3 here, so we're gonna try and figure out our matchup. Demonic, we'll try and get Kinsman in here in a bit to explain his deck. I'd like to know more about that too. He's definitely running one of the more interesting lists in this tournament today.